Are you a female entrepreneur who feels stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure how to move forward? The Life Coaching for Business Builders program helps you harness your inner power, build your authentic platform, and chart a clear path to business success. You don't have to do this alone. Together, we'll create strategies, structure, and accountability to help you boss up in life and business. It's time to claim your power and make your business dreams a reality. Hello and welcome to Boss Business Strategies Talk Show, the premier talk show for entrepreneurs looking to scale to their first $1 million, where I bring you front row and center to the blueprint behind the brand, straight from the millionaire entrepreneurs themselves. I am your host, Dr. Marcia, physician, life and business coach, and radio personality, and I help female entrepreneurs who are navigating the business building process to harness the power of their story, build an authentic platform, and chart a clear path to business success. It's all about the power, all about the platform, and all about the pathway. And today I am beyond excited to welcome a powerhouse who's done just that, Tami Gamble. And she is from a Howard University alum. She is a certified building trades instructor. She's a union foreman, and I can't wait to hear more about that with the
Yeah.
United Brotherhood of Carpenters, Local 551. And she's the founder of the Girly Shop Teacher Foundation. Her passion for construction began at age 6. Yes, you heard me, 6, while she was pouring cement alongside her father. And she has been building ever since. Some of her accolades is that she has produced over 50 episodes of Garage School during the pandemic, and also she has been leading high profile installations for the Super Bowl 59, the National Urban League experience at the BT Super Soulful Sunday VIP Lounge. And she blends a mix of craftsmanship, education, and entrepreneurship to empower the next generation of builders. She is not just teaching construction, but she is building confidence, careers, and a legacy. Tami, welcome to the stage. How are you?
I'm amazing. It sounds so much better when someone says it other than when I'm thinking, now, what have I done?
Exactly. Exactly. No, but all the things are such great accolades for you. And we
Yeah.
met recently at a TEDx talk,
Yes.
and that was phenomenal. And I remember the moment when I saw you. I made a comment, about your hair, and that turned
Mhm.
into, you
A
know,
friendship, a sisterhood.
it
It's what it
is. It
is.
is. And what was even crazier is that as we were sharing information, we share a connection,
Yeah.
okay? And April Showers. And the
Hmm.
reason why she is so special to me is that I met her at a Forbes BLK conference. She was my
Wow.
first guest on the Boss Business
Oh,
Strategies. Okay, and so I
I
love her
love
story.
it.
So I'm gonna let you say hello to the people and just kind of share just kind of what this moment means to you and your connection with April as well.
Oh my goodness. This is full circle moments. And I truly believe that good people know good people. This world is so small when you start touching people who really make a difference and who are in it for heart and for legacy. And I met April a couple years back, maybe about 3 years ago, when initially I first saw her character brand. And I had another girlfriend in the house, Joy Brown of Culture Creators, who I dearly love, my Howard University sister. And I rushed in the other room to say, hey, look at how cool and dope this young lady is. And Joy looks at me, she's like, I just hung up the phone with her. And I was like, I said, I just told her on Instagram, I want to be at, tell Afro Unicorn, please tell your mommy that Tuli Tammy wants to be your friend. And so those are both of our different characters. Fast forward, not even 3 weeks later, I was standing with April working on a tea party that she has and heading up the setup for the tea party. And we met and we clicked, and now we're sisters.
I absolutely love that. And thank you for mentioning of April's brand. So she's the first African American women to have a character brand in a big box store.
Yes.
And that big box store started off as Walmart. Not sure, I'm sure she's bigger now. But
Oh, yes.
the thing that was crazy is that they called her.
Yeah.
Okay. You're like, yeah,
Right,
right, right,
right. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I mean it's not crazy. People find you when you're inside of your passion. And one of the things that April left with me is that she's a master manifester. And I'm just like, so am I. So we clicked instantly on that viewpoint of thought because without having the ideas, and I know we'll move into that later, without having the ideas and the spark to go after, nothing happens. You're stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the passion. And one of the
Yes.
things, and I said in the bio, is that you were building or pouring concrete with your father at age
Hmm.
6. What
Yes.
was awakened? What did that passion, what was that, and how did you move forward with it?
Well, that's a little bit of a convoluted story. So I actually was on punishment and was not allowed to go on a trip because I had taken a doll to the school and it was caught in the sandbox. That was a whole fiasco. That's written in one of my books. Don't worry, you'll find out more about that later. But I was always fascinated watching the work trucks move up and down the freeway, and the cement trucks I was just be wide-eyed looking at. So my dad was going to pour steps on a weekend where I was not supposed to be at home, but punishment landed me in his lap. And he was ready to pour the steps. He had me out there, building the forms, doing some backfill with some dirt and some concrete and some rubble and things of that nature. And he could not get the machine to actually agitate the the cement so it would turn into concrete with the water. And I kept saying, Daddy, I know it's wrong. Daddy, I know it's wrong. And he was ignoring me. And at the time, there were no cell phones. So he goes in the house to make the phone call to the company to say that this machine is defective. And I take the machine with all my might. I push the machine on its side so that the barrel is not sitting upwards, but sitting sideways. And so now it's able to churn.
Oh.
I think he almost had a heart attack that day. If not, he definitely needed a stent by the time I was done. And so he was so scared. He was happy and mad at the same time. But he was like, "Okay, trusty sidekick, let's go." And I became his trusty sidekick at that point. You know, and from there it was just up. We were remodeling a really dingy trap house and turning it into a home because that's what my parents could afford at the time. And we did it. But that was my first moment of fall in love with tools.
Hmm. And I love that. And one of the things with dropping for me is everybody has that moment where we find the thing that really that's the spark, but
Yeah.
everyone doesn't pull that through. So tell me how this construction passion really turned into a thing for you. When did you really know this was not just a moment, but it was a skill and a calling?
I figured out it was a skill and a calling when I got a phone call asking me to apply to be a trades instructor at a high school. Up until that point, I was just doing it because I liked it, doing it for friends, doing it for family, just maintaining, the rental properties and such that my family owns. And it was just like, oh, the garbage disposal needs to be replaced. Let me go replace it. But it was something I learned at my daddy's hip. Oh, the glass is broken out the window. I'll just, take out the glass, go get another piece, put it back in and secure it down. I've always loved to use my hands. And as long as I'm using my hands, I'm a happy person. It's when I have to sit down and deal with paper that I am not very happy. I'm a grumble when that happens.
Mhm.
So when I got the phone call to come and interview as a trades instructor, I was like, oh, I know people that can do it. And I got the reply, no fool you. And that was the moment I knew there's something here because just the night before I had said, hey, God, I know you got to have something better for me than this crappy life I'm living. And that's what started the role on this particular phase.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
it.
So you got a call to become a trades instructor. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm glad you said that because for some reason I had the vision that you had been a teacher and then you transitioned over to teaching construction. But you were
Ah,
but that's
no,
not how it
dropped
happened.
right. Nope.
So let me ask you this. In today's society where women, okay, primarily, I can even go one step further. I can say black women,
Hmm.
uh, we're looking to be we're going to school to be a doctor. We're
Yeah.
going to school to become a lawyer.
Hmm.
We're going to school to get a PhD. We're going to school to be an electrical engineer. We're
Hmm.
looking to go to school to be a politician. Tell me how. I want to follow the money. Okay. I want you
Okay.
to follow the money for me and tell us how what the money making capacity is and how women and men should divert and look at construction.
Okay. So the interesting thing is, every occupation that you name, there is a practitioner in all of them. You have to have a certain set of tools. You have to have a certain amount of education in order to do each of those jobs. But it's equal intelligence that is required in order to be a carpenter. So, unfortunately, in our society, we have thought of people who work in the trades as not as intelligent. But the thing about it is, we have to operate with physics, we have to operate with, sometimes, advanced mathematics, we have to estimate. All of those things are present within our industry. And when I jump out of my truck with my toolbox, I'm jumping out of my truck with no less than $4,000 to $7,000 in tools, no matter where I go. That costs money, but I'm a practitioner. So right now, within the trades industry, we are waning with the number of actual workers that are inside the industry. So we all know statistics: when demand is high and supply is low, the price goes up.
Yes, 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 ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I have been in multiple rooms.
Mhm.
From the bio, you were at Super Bowl. I know you were there
Yes,
last year. Were you there this year
yes.
as well?
I didn't go this year. I was working another job, so I
Gotcha.
didn't go this
So
year.
I was there with you last year. Didn't we
Hmm.
didn't cross paths, but you had built out a set. Okay.
Yes.
And I've been in MBE rooms, okay,
Hmm.
minority business enterprise, and I've been in state of Maryland government rooms, and even there's was an event that's coming for contractors for our the Washington Commanders season, where they're
Hmm.
bringing in vendors, right? If I could go back and
Hmm.
learn construction,
Hmm.
if I could go back and learn engineering, if I could go back and learn some HVAC,
Oh,
or
HVAC is where the money is.
right,
Yeah.
or how to
Yeah.
put in elevators,
Hmm.
come on, come on. I
Yeah.
would,
Right. And here's the thing. It is such a broad industry. And most people think of, oh, you're in construction, you do DIY. That is just the surface scratch. That's not the big stuff.
come on.
And the beautiful thing for me is, and I may be skipping ahead, is because of being an instructor for the building trades, and I touched hundreds of students every year that I was with in the classroom, not to mention what has happened since I've come out. Each of those kids have, well, I won't say each of them, but many of them have advanced their careers. When we met, the young lady that was with us is my goddaughter. She is getting her doctorate in architecture at Morgan State. Yes, she already has her master's and her undergrad, master's. and her undergrad from Prairie View A&M University, dual major, architecture and construction
Mhm.
management. So
Mhm.
that's one element, that's one of my reasons why I push so hard. And I do what I do is authentic to me,
Mhm.
which inspires others.
Yeah, yeah. So if you could speak to parents,
Hmm.
okay, or women, young
Hmm.
ladies who may be watching, who are going through school and they haven't declared a major yet, or they haven't gotten to high school yet, or whatever, what would you tell parents and those young folks about looking into trade schools and particularly construction?
I would tell them a college education is a great thing to have. A trades is a necessity. And it doesn't matter what your trade is because you can transfer that knowledge. So there's so many people who are in construction, be it HVAC, plumbing, electrical, whatnot, elevator repair, and they're running their own businesses. So it helps to have a business degree so that you understand how to run that business. But on the flip side, you have other arenas within the construction space that go into the entertainment space. So that helps with like setting up conventions or staging for theaters. So if you're a theater major, you're able to understand those aspects of construction because you have rigging and set building, which is a different discipline than it is to build a house or a commercial property. So look at these things as equal intelligence opportunities. One does not outweigh the other. They are definitely complements for each other.
Yeah, yeah. Amazing, amazing. So, you mentioned about when you jump out of that truck and you have your $7,000 minimum of tools. I
Hmm.
want you to speak to, I mentioned this to you. There isn't there One of the things that's very powerful is for a woman to be able to use a power tool or a
Hmm.
tool in general. So I want you to
Hmm.
speak to that, and then I want you to tell me what is your favorite tool that you use.
Okay, so speaking to power tools and the usage of power tools, honestly, I look at hot curlers as power tools. I look at my blenders and my mixers as power
Okay,
tools.
okay.
I look at my computer as a power tool. Those are powerful to me. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. Yes,
But
ma'am.
the same amount of dexterity that you need in order to curl your hair and not burn it, or make sure that you're not holding your blender
Mhm.
and making your icing go all over the kitchen. Those are similar skill sets because it's muscle memory that's built in. If you had to ask me my favorite tool, it's going to be the tape measure. I
Really?
know that sounds crazy, but here's why the tape measure is my favorite tool. The tape measure would not have even been invented had it not been for the um, the era where hoop skirts were in vogue. Because once upon a time, women wore petticoats. The petticoats were hot and heavy, and so then someone decided, well, we'll make metal wire hoops to hold these skirts out because it was an innovation. Then someone who was working inside of the factory said, wait a minute, instead of using these tapes that stretch out and tear, we could just make the marks on the pieces of metal and it will be more accurate. So a little bit of women in construction history there. So that's why the tape measure is my favorite tool.
I love that. Yes. And the thing that I was surprised, which I'm sure everyone would be surprised, because there is no, you don't see the power. It's just a tape measure.
Hmm.
And you're like, you just
Right.
measure stuff. Now, I thought where you were going to go with that is, they say measure twice, cut once.
Hmm.
That's where I thought you were going. But regardless of whatever tool that you use, I mean, the pen, as you mentioned, I know you said
Yes.
the pen is a
It's
tool, the computer is a tool. You said the hair curler is a tool. All those things. So I think the message here is use the resources that you have.
exactly. Yes. Yes.
Use the ones you have.
Yes.
And we're over here thinking that we need to have that cement mixer in our backyard, but we don't. We need to have whatever the gifting, whatever that passion that has been put in front of us. Then we
Mm-hmm.
use whatever it is we have around that. So I love it.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
and speaking of using what we have,
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic, you started recording something called Garage School.
I did.
Can you tell us, you got 50 episodes underneath your tool belt, if you will.
Yes.
Tell us what that was.
So at that time, I had only removed myself from the classroom about 6 months earlier to go full throttle with Girly Shop Teacher Foundation. And in talking to my fellow construction teachers, many of them only had their workspace at a classroom and not workspaces at home where they had their tools available. And so I said, well, you know what? I've got an entire garage full of tools because it's what I love. Let's get these lessons into these kids. They've got to log on anyway. I said, so if you don't mind, I'd love to help supplement and I can show the hands-on piece so they actually see what's going on. Because it's kind of tough to describe how to solder if you're not seeing how to solder,
Mhm,
or if you're just reading it in a book. And certain things you just have to see in order to be able to do it. And then other things, it's enhanced when you feel it. And
mhm,
so I wanted to make sure the kids could see.
mhm,
And
mhm.
that's how Garage School started. So I started when I think a week after the pandemic started, and I took it all the way to the end of the school year.
Wow. Yeah. I know that was important. I had two kids at home during the pandemic, and
Hmm.
I know that even though they couldn't be hands on, they could see it, and I know that was important. So,
Yeah.
you mentioned the Girly Shop Teacher Foundation. I want you
Hmm.
to share a little bit about that, but I also want you to touch on, I know you have done some things with the Duluth uh, Trading Company. I mentioned earlier that you were hands-on building a set at the Super Bowl. How have those experiences impacted you both personally and professionally?
Okay, go back to the first question so I can answer that one.
Girly Shop Foundation,
Oh,
Girly
Girly
Shop
Shop
Teacher
Teacher Foundation.
Foundation.
Okay, Girly Shop Teacher Foundation. When I was in the classroom, I noticed that many of my students weren't putting their hands on tools until they were freshmen and sometimes sophomores in high school. By that time, we've lost 10 years worth of knowledge that could have been at their fingertips, including how to read a tape measure. So I decided that I was going to start working with organizations like Girl Scouts of America and other organizations just to be able to introduce kids to early skills. And I just made it my mission that on the weekends I would find some kids to work with. So that's how Girly Shop Teacher Foundation started, because it's important to me to put tools in the hands that need them. Um, because of my work with children, and because at that time I started a social media presence at the urging of one of my girlfriends, um, I got a phone call one day from Disney. Didn't know it was Disney because they were casting for a show for a new streaming service called Disney Plus. I thought that they were lying to me when I saw the plus on that contract. I said, people just try anything, trying to fool you. Well, it wasn't a joke. It was real. I was flown out to California and I spent, I think, 2 weeks in California filming the show. It was called, what was it called? It wasn't called Garage School. It was called,
The shop class?
yeah, oh, there we go, Shop Class.
Mhm,
Shop Class on Disney Plus. Thank you. And so I filmed Shop Class on Disney Plus. I served as one of the competing instructors, and it was an absolute ball, wonderful opportunity. And I'm so glad I landed that. Just prior to that, uh, one night I was on the internet surfing because I couldn't sleep. This is what we do.
right.
Right. And there was an advertisement that said Duluth Company is looking for real women who do real work. 4 o'clock in the morning, I submit an application and forget about it. A few months later, I get a phone call that says you've been selected as a model for a Real Women Who Do Real Work campaign for Duluth Trading Company. So I've done that campaign and I've also done their Workday Warrior campaign. And I'm so grateful to the people at both Disney and Duluth for seeing me
Mm,
and for, giving me an opportunity to tell my story and encourage others. those are some pretty great brands to be affiliated with.
They are. And how did you get tapped into building the BET set?
Oh gosh. I got a phone call. It was really a Hail Mary phone call 2 days before the BET Super Soul Sunday experience in New Orleans. And it was a Hail Mary phone call from another girlfriend who has worked that particular show before as an event planner. And there were no union carpenters, matter of fact, no volunteers at all that understood carpentry that were available on the job. And I said, when does it have to be up? And she said, it has to be up by Wednesday night. I said, okay, well, I'll be in Houston for something on Sunday, just for one day working, but I will jump in my truck and I will drive to New Orleans. So that's exactly what I did. I went from Dallas to Houston to work, and then I just kept it trucking. After I got off of work, I just went straight to New Orleans. I slept in my truck for about 3 hours, and I got up and I went to work. And the gentleman that was working with me, his name is Corey. He's freaking amazing. Corey says, I said, "Hey, where's Corey?" And they were like, "He's right there." And I walked up to Corey and I said, "Hey, Corey," I said, "my tools are in the truck. Here's my hands. What do you want me to do?" "Oh, my name's Tammy." He says, "What?" I said, "My tools are in my truck. Here's my hands. My name's Tammy. What you need?" He says, "I've never had anyone introduce themselves with my tools are in my truck."
So I'm going to assume that you rolled up into the Mahalia Jackson Theater.
I did.
I came probably after you. I was on the red carpet in the tent.
I built the red carpet.
When I tell you that thing was fabulous,
Thank
fabulous.
you.
Look, clock it. Look, I have never been in a red carpet that filled an entire room. When I tell you that thing was bad, I I stood next to DL Hughley's co-host. She was the lead co-host for the event. And from there, they came to me at Sirius XM. And I also interviewed Yolanda Adams,
Yeah.
Big Frida,
Yes, Yolanda and Big
um,
Frida were both there.
all
I
great,
saw. I talked to
Trombone
both of them.
Shorty,
Uh-huh.
all the people. And so when I tell you that thing was hot, so you
Well,
did.
yeah, Corey and Quintina were the masterminds behind the design.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so they have credit on the BET Super Soul Sunday awards for that because Corey could only put two names. He was like, "Tammy, I want to put your name." I said, "Don't worry about my name. People who know what I did, they know what I did. It's not that serious." But yeah, so when you let me see. Okay, so several things were happening in that room. With the sticker that was at the corner edge where the person was talking, I guess the host was talking and they were standing on the sticker. So I laid that sticker down. Um, all of the um, everything that had to be hung from the tent post
Yes.
because we didn't have a lot of tools to hang that.
Hmm.
And there wasn't a lot to hold on to, but I hung everything that went all the way around that tent. And then I organized all the volunteers. Originally, there were yellow drapes that were in the room, but I said to Quintina, these yellow drapes weren't due because number one, they're too thin. Number two, they're too wrinkled, and ain't nobody got time to iron that many drapes. Get me something different that is wrinkle free. And so she ordered red wrinkle free drapes. They were perfect,
What?
perfect,
Look, I took a
perfect.
whole photo shoot in that building. It was amazing. And then you did the was it the grass wall with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
lessons?
yeah, because I have a video of myself walking out with the with the signs that go on there, and I'm walking out like, yeah, I have to send it to you.
It was phenomenal. So thank you for your work. I and it's funny how things
Full
kind of
circle,
happen.
full
But
circle, full
that's
circle. Yeah,
amazing. That
yeah,
is that's absolutely amazing. So
yeah.
I wanted so I mean so you've been doing some big things. And I wanted to, and part of the show is that I like to talk about the $1 million moment. And for the women and men who watch the show, They are business owners and they're looking to scale to $1 million. Now, we have someone who has crossed that threshold, and I want to know, I not so much the moment that happened, but what is the mindset behind that push? We're like, you know what? I made it this far, but I really want to be over here. How do you what was going through your head, and how would you encourage those that are watching?
Okay, so I'm going to take you back to a phrase, and I may bastardize the phrase, but in Italian. Esse un problema e nessuna soluzione, esse un problema. Esse un problema, esse una soluzione, esse un problema, esse una soluzione. Okay, that's the Italian version, bastardized, I'm sure. But what it means is, if there is a problem and there is a solution, then there's no problem. But if there's a problem that cannot be solved and there's no solution, it's no longer a problem because it can't be solved.
Mm,
When standing inside of my classroom, I noticed that there was a huge problem with access for young people to be able to put their hands on tools at an early age. And so I said, I have to do something to give access. That's what the $1 million moment was deciding to make sure that kids had access.
mhm,
And so, my head started spinning because I'm a creative. I mean, if I'm not creating, I'm dead. So, um, I created the Girly Shop Teacher Foundation and started finding kids to work with. And it has tumbled into, this $1 million um, idea and entity, in worth, because I saw a problem that can be solved.
yeah, yeah. And you just outlined the business plan for every business. You find the
Hmm.
problem
Hmm.
that you can solve,
Hmm.
and that's what you have done. So,
Yeah.
Tammy, I want to ask you, how do folks get a hold of you? If they want to support your foundation, or if they need the union foreman to show up, what would you?
Okay. So the absolute easiest way, the social media piece that I check the most is Instagram, and I'm Girly Shop Teacher on Instagram. We also have Girly Shop Teacher Foundation, but I'm typically within the Girly Shop Teacher side of it as a human being. My website, girlyshopteacher.com, or you can contact me at info at Teacher. And that's GirlyShopTeacher.
Love it. The final question I have, I know you have a book called Love Letters to Your Toolbox, I think is what it's called.
Yes, yes,
Can
yes.
you share a little bit about that? And then I want you to speak some love to those entrepreneurs who are watching, listening, to help to encourage them to their next level.
Okay, so Love Letters to My Toolbox came about while in the midst of COVID. My daddy was tired of watching reruns of Bonanza. And so I started curating funny stories to read to him over the phone just so we could have something else to talk about. And that turned into a series of love letters. And I realized, oh, these are love letters to my toolbox. And they were just a funny collection of stories about getting in trouble and, coming of age and learning about life. So that is the book series, Love Letters to My Toolbox. It's available on Amazon. The very first book is available, and I have an amazing artist named Kayla McGuire, who is a former Girly Shop Teacher student, who's illustrated the book. So that's one of my heartbeats is that particular series.
Love it.
And something to encourage the next round of entrepreneurs: be steadfast. It is said within the entertainment community that it takes 10 years before anyone even notices you. It's true. It's true. Give yourself that 10 years of work because you become a master within that 10 years. It takes that long to get an undergrad, a master's, and a doctorate. So, yeah, give yourself those 10 years.
Yeah. Great words, great words. And I also hear don't stop. You said that earlier. Don't stop.
No,
Because if you
no,
stop,
no.
you'll never get there. And then you
Mm-mm.
have to start from the beginning. But
Right,
keep going and
right.
follow the passion,
Hmm.
follow what's in
Yeah.
your heart, and doors will open and
Hmm.
folks will eventually see you.
Yeah, yeah. And your first idea might not be your final idea,
Yeah.
but the fact that it came first is the best one you've ever had.
Mm, I love that. So, Tammy, stay tuned. I'm going to close out and I'll be right back with you, okay?
Okay, okay.
All right, and there you have it. That
Cute.
was amazing. That was Tami Gamble from Girly Shop Teacher Foundation, and she dropped the nuggets. And I love these conversations because they're fun, but they also get to the heart, get to the bottom of the mindset and the stories that say, you know what, you can do it. You can do it. So make sure you follow us here, and you can also check me out on all things social media at drmarcia.com. If you're looking to get more visible, you can join my free Facebook group, and it is called Show Up and Shine. And I help you to show up and shine without spending a dime. Go to drmarcia.com, and I will see you next time right here on Boss Business Strategies.